Can everyone hear me now? There are still any issues with the audio? Okay, looks like we're good. Um, Along with me, I also have Cooper Drummond. He'll be monitoring the chat window. So if you have any questions or comments, please write them in the window, and he will be monitoring the comments and questions, and we will have a 15-minute session at the end to answer any questions. So if we could hold on to the questions till the end, that would be great. I can address them then, unless of course there's something significantly pressing. Okay. So the agenda item for today is really to provide the following sections and talk about these items that I've outlined here in the agenda slide. Um, so we've also inserted an image of each agenda item in the top right corner of every slide. You'll notice that as we move forward. And we did that as sort of a breadcrumb. We're presenting a lot of topics here, so we want to make sure that if you do get lost in these slides, that you can look up at the top right and understand and indicate where we are in the discussion. Um, so first, the first order of action is I'll briefly remind everyone of what we presented in the last webinar, and then I will be moving into presenting the different types of goal groups. We will then discuss how to define the conversions or goals values that we set, and then how to create the goals. The final two sections of the webinar will be providing examples for flows and funnels, and then we will discuss the purpose of an intelligence event. The example data that we are using comes from one of our clients, Americans United. So we want to just thank them for graciously allowing us to use their data as an example. Um, so the reason we chose them was they did have a very sort of comprehensive way of capturing goals and sort of the donation values in their site, and we wanted to show that to you. So, as a recap, in our previous Google Analytics webinar, we presented a systematic approach to deriving an organization's business objectives with measurable targets. This is constantly, a business is constantly evolving, so targets will change, and sometimes even strategic objectives do change. Um, so the process of managing these objectives through metrics is requires active management, and this will achieve a required return on investment through of your website, and enable for continuous improvement, which is not achieved through a passive approach. And Google Analytics really is the tool that allows an organization to proactively manage their site. Um, Defining target values provides performance. Um, so as you can see here, defining target from the chevrons, defining target values provides performance feedback that shows how successful the organization's website is in helping to achieve the overarching business objectives. As we move forward, please keep this strategic approach in mind as we move through this webinar section. Each webinar will, as we move forward, build on the previous concepts that we've presented. We have a lot of content to cover here, so again, we have included this top right box that shows where in the agenda we are and what the topics are associated with that. Just one final reminder, as you move from the left chevron to the right chevron, you're actually taking a strategic approach and turning it into tactical, measurable values. So now we will talk about goal groups. Um, the goal group section will cover acquisitions, inquiry, engagement, and revenue. The definition of acquisition is it varies among organizations, but the premise is that when has a site engaged a visitor, and how has it engaged a visitor, and what has caused this visitor to take an important action. An inquiry refers to requesting information directly through the website or contact forms, and even an email. Engagement overall refers to the connection point of a user to your organization. So we have certain metrics that look at that. And revenue and donations, that's pretty straightforward. It's how to capture monetary value from your site. So the next couple of slides will focus solely on acquisitions. There's more to cover in this section, so we decided to present the acquisitions topic separate from the other three. Inquiry, revenue, or donations, and the engagement topics were presented as one slide. So, acquisitions. Google Analytics has recently updated this layout, so this is new. Acquisitions is one of the new standard reports and contains data on how site acquires customers. It's whether through e-commerce, through lead generation, or through fundraising. Within acquisitions, there are two views, and these are new too: overview and channels. The acquisition, and we will be looking at these four channels: organic, direct, referral, and social. The acquisition overview report provides a window into your user's acquisition, behavior, and conversion cycle. This is what Google Analytics refers to as the ABC cycle. Essentially, how you acquire users, what are their behaviors on your site after you've acquired them, and what are their conversion patterns. I'll demonstrate this in the next slide. So as you can see here, we have the acquisition, behavior, and conversions view. And this is all part of the acquisitions overview. This acquisitions overview screen is very new, but really useful as it consolidates and puts together some really valuable information all in one screen. We all know, because Alec Baldwin told us, that ABC equals always be closing. So it's another way of looking at this cycle. However, in this webinar, as I mentioned previously in the slide, we're referring to acquisitions, behaviors, and the conversion cycle. The acquisition overview reports lets you see the acquisitions by channel. It lets you see acquisitions by campaign or by keyword, by source or medium, the behavior on the site by pages per visit, the visit durations, and page views. So it's pretty robust. Conversion patterns also, you can also look at conversion patterns by transactions, revenue, e-commerce conversion rates, goal completions, goal values, and goal conversion rates. These are a lot of different ways of measuring data, so it's really important to just look at what's important to you. Obviously, some firms are not going to be looking at revenue. Some firms will be looking at revenue. It's just something to keep in mind as you think about acquisitions, that there's a lot to measure, but it's best to measure them. It's best to focus on what's specifically important to your organization. What we're going to look next, we'll look deeper at each of these traffic channels here on the left column. So we had social, organic, search, direct, referral, and email. We'll look at those. So as you can see here, this is a channels overview. The channels that you saw in the previous slide are now presented in a different view, and it's it really gives more detail on each specific channel. Um, the overview sort of provides these shows the view of these channels across that ABC view, and here we can go into a little bit more detail within that ABC view. So as you can see, acquisitions, behavior, and conversions. For acquisitions, you've got metrics such as visits, percentage of new visits, and new visits. Behavior, what's happening when they come to the site. If they're coming in and they're bouncing off, we've got a bounce rate associated with that. We see how many pages per visits that users are looking at as they're coming in through a default channel, and conversions, similar. We looking at transactions, revenue, and an e-commerce conversion rate. So you can look at um, social channels, you can look at email, you can look at direct channels, you can look at all the different types of uh, traffic channels associated with acquisitions into your site and see them across this ABC cycle view. Um, okay. Now we're going to talk a little bit about organic search. When Google results drive a user to the site, they get collected into this channel called organic search. What is not provided is the value that is due to sort of Google's encryption of a search, and these are in terms of keywords. When originally released, Google explained that it would not affect term values as strongly as it has, and there are a few workarounds to gain some insight around this, namely using Google Webmaster Tools to view search queries, but there's nothing really foolproof. Um, Other keywords. It's important when thinking about keywords. It's really important to think about keyword placement. And what this screen really does is it gives you insight into what users are actually searching for overall, and this can assist in creating sort of the site metadata as a whole. So in this case, you can see that um, for Americans United, we had separation of church and state. We had Americans United for separation of church and state, and we can see how these values are how this what this search looks like across the ABC cycle. So now if we look at direct traffic really represents those visitors that arrive directly and immediate on your site. So basically, they type your URL into the browser's address bar. They click on a bookmark, or they click on a link in an email, SMS, or chat message. Um, Direct traffic is a strong enough indicator of your brand strength and your success in email or text message marketing. So if you have a high direct traffic, it shows that your brand is strong, your marketing efforts are strong, and they're paying dividends. Direct traffic can also be an indicator of obviously offline marketing success. So not going to go too deep into this. It's similar as what we're seeing here is similar to the previous slides. Um, you'll see the landing page, and then again across the three ABC um, uh, areas. Okay, in terms of referral traffic is associated with referral site traffic. It's sometimes called refer traffic or referral traffic. It counts those visitors that click a link on another site and land on your site. It's important to understand where those clicks are coming from, because some sites may want to build partnerships with organizations that are driving this referral traffic. Um, Referral traffic can certainly be indicative of social media marketing success. Uh, so you can build referral traffic by guest posts, press releases, social bookmarks, However, in some cases, we have social bookmarking, such as Reddit would be an example. However, Reddit has a community that's very challenging, so it's not something that we would recommend um, sort of focusing on. But again, as you can see here, we've got the source on the left, and we've got the concept of the acquisition behavior and conversions across the horizontal there. Um, this is just another way to really look and see where's my traffic coming from, and what's the behavior, and what's the conversion from that traffic. This is very rich data. So we've got the another traffic channel here would be social. It's pretty self-explanatory. We all know the social networks of Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, StumbleUpon, and Blogger. Social network performance is basically key for organizations to focus their energy on. Social is really a filter on referrals. So if you think about it, it's just where's the social traffic referral coming from? But it is its own traffic channel. Um, so Google Analytics puts them together and filters them by channel name here. We can see that in terms of the example that we're showing here from Americans United, Americans United performs very well on Facebook. So either focusing on that channel while trying to build the others could be a valid strategy. And really looking at this would indicate to me, why is Facebook successful? What's on our page? Who are our supporters, etc. And that can give you more further insight. It's a perfect example of how analytics provides these very rich data sets to ask the harder questions about what is the profile of you of users that are coming in through Facebook. Why are these numbers the way they are? And that allows us, if you think about it from what we talked about in the last seminar, and what I recapped today, it shows how well our metrics are aligned to our overall strategy. So in our strategy, did we say that we wanted to increase users through social media? Yes or no? What sort of objectives did we have to be able to do that? Did we focus on Facebook? If so, is our campaign working or not? And these are the types of metrics that allow you to sort of look at that and then tie it back into the overall strategy that was defined at the beginning. Email. So this just displays the email campaigns and responses. Visits are tagged with the medium email through an analytics multi-channel funnel, and that's so we'll be going into this. We won't be going into too much of this multi-funnel, a multi-channel funnel in this webinar, but basically it's just a way to further categorize your channel visits. Same setup as the other slides. You've got your landing pages on the left, and then you've got the ABC across. So just to round up the goal groups, now we're going to talk about inquiry, revenue or donations, and engagement. An inquiries refer to, as I mentioned earlier, refers to requesting information, and this is a classic conversion type. Regardless of a channel or source or motivation, a user is contacting your organization, and so they're searching you out, and they are a strong lead and should obviously be tracked and entered into a CRM or an ERP system, so that that you identify the user as a sort of an advocate or a potential customer. Tracking contact form conversions and inquiries is just another way of capturing this direct inquiry. You can also track through a form thank you page, or goal URL using goal funnels, reverse goal paths, and goal flow screens, which we'll talk about later. Revenue and donations is basically how you generate monetary value from the site. Every site requires a return on investment. Even nonprofit sites, especially nonprofit sites, um, and for-profit sites as well, because the reason you have a website is for something, and that some for something needs to be identified monetarily. There's an investment to not only building the site but managing the site and making sure that the content um, reflects the goals of the organization, and that's why we're having these webinars in the first place, is because again Google allows us to do that. Um, finally, engagement. In the next slide, you will see we will demonstrate an example of how to define an actual engagement for your organization. So, engagement metrics. Um, Same general indicators that we've seen before. We've got acquisition, behaviors, conversions. We've got time spent on site. Um, so um, you can include certain indicators such as time spent on site, pages per visits and revisits, whether somebody has been watching a video or reading certain content. You can also include comments to blogs that are otherwise hard to track in Google Analytics, but we do know some third-party tools that can do that. Newsletters and signups are easily tracked through goal URLs as well. Um, so in the engagement of this screen, what we're doing is we've filtered by source, and you can get a good feel of which sources are engaged. Again, by reviewing the visit duration, the bounce rates, and the conversions. Some top level ideas for building a channel engagement for Americans United is basically demonstrated here. Email is a great channel. You can see that email has a generally email does have a low bounce rate, huge conversion rate, but the numbers indicates to start more email campaigns specifically here, and can also have a side effect to building sort of the engagement in the other channels. So what these numbers show is that if you are doing an email campaign, you can easily start to track what are the visits. What do the visits look like? What's the bounce rate like, and what's the transaction like? And it all falls under this concept of engagement, user engagement. So as I mentioned earlier, some other indicators include, I'll repeat them again: time spent on site, page views and revisits, watching a video or reading certain content, um, comment to blog posts, and newsletter signups. Okay. The slides in this section refer to actual conversions. The process of defining a conversion and setting value should be specific for each organization. I know I've mentioned that about 2 or 3 times already in this webinar. As a lot of our clients are nonprofits, we typically see our conversions as engagements. We can define conversions through newsletter signups and emails, quiz or poll, revenue or donations. Can also assign conversions and goal values, as you can see here. The first 3 ways we'll discuss as one slide, and we'll sort of skip a bit, but we will talk a little bit more about assigning the conversions and goal values. Okay, conversions. What do we want? What do we want to answer? essentially what we want to talk about and what we want to nail down when we're thinking about conversions and goal values is how do I determine a goal value? It's usually easy to convince organizations that they need a goal value, but it's much harder to actually assign a number. If you're not sure where to start, which is usually the case, there are some questions that we recommend and we've seen have helped some customers identify goal values. And one of them is how much would you pay to how much would you pay a lead gen service for a particular lead? So you may not assign that exact value to your own leads, but for example, if a lead comes through to your site and tends to be more qualified than outside leads, it might have a higher value, and you'd have to think about what that value is. The other question is um, how much is the average closed sale? What percentage of leads actually turn into sales? With these two numbers, you can simply you can create a simple calculation for value. Um, for example, an average closed sale is about $100. If you have approximately a 20% lead conversion, then you've got a $20 value, and that can help you identify what that number is in terms of um, how you value the leads that are turned into sales. The other question is what percentage of free account signups turn into paid accounts within a year? Again, you can do some simple calculations. One that we've found to be kind of helpful is paid account value times the conversion rate. Um, and if you're recording a paid if you're recording paid account upgrades, you may want to consider adjustments to ensure you aren't overvaluing a single customer. The final one other question that we also recommend is what percentage of web leads are qualified leads? So you may not be familiar with this, but Google Analytics actually is going to track all leads. So if a lead conversion rate is based off a qualified lead, then you will be inflating your value. So it's important to calculate values of all leads for all website leads, not just qualified ones. Um, and then if you really have no idea of what the goal value may be, if you're a brand new company or you're a brand new organization, or have you've never tracked conversion rates for leads, or you just don't feel that you can commit to a goal value, there are certainly other things that you could do to work through this problem. And we can provide some guidance and information around that outside of this webinar. Okay. So I just wanted to take a step back. We've introduced many topics so far to you. So I wanted to just review what we've covered so far. We have recapped our topics from the previous webinar about how to align objectives to targets. We've discussed the different types of goal groups. We talked about how to determine conversion and goal values, and I just went through some examples in the previous slide. Our next slide will introduce the goal types associated with goal creation, followed by examples from flows and funnels, and then the final slide will focus on what we call intelligence events. So goal types. We're now in the goal creation section. Unfortunately, the the breadcrumb on the top right does not indicate that. But what we'll do is we'll talk about the destination, duration, pages per visits, and events. It actually looks like our good friend Jeremy Foote has returned, and perfect timing because he can walk us through the slides that associated with these goal type areas. Jeremy, have you joined us? Okay. I guess he's in the process of dialing in, but in the meantime, I will continue moving forward. Um, so what we have here is a landing page for creating a goal. We've got a goal description category, so it's pretty straightforward. Currently, admins can create up to 20 goals, but cannot delete, but can edit them and go back to basic values. So it's important to really think about your goals throughout before you create them, because again, you cannot delete them. Um, as you can see here in the visual, I'm under a view. I am signed in as new signature. And I've got a name box that can where I can indicate the name of the goal, the type of goal, and then I can click on next steps. So once I've done that, I go to goal details, and in destination, I can use a funnel, I can track engagement, I can track inquiries, I can have defined values, and again, it's pretty straightforward. So I could type in the destination, I can turn on the value option, I can turn on the funnel option, and then I can move on to the next goal. The next part of the goal setup, I should say. Okay, so I'm under goal details right now, and the duration is a very basic engagement tracking metric. You can certainly have a defined value as well. You can turn the value on and assign a monetary value to that conversion. But we've got a duration value that you think about, and then you can move on and create the goal.
Luis, can you hear me now?
Oh, yes.
There we go. Oh, I had to rejoin. All right.
Great.
Apologize.
No, thank you for joining us.
So we just got through duration goals.
We were creating a pages per visit goal, and we were talking about, we just got to the pages per visit goal. We just finished duration, pages per visit, and now we're in pages per visit with the pages per screen and the value.
All right.
You want to take it away?
I apologize. I guess better late than never. So the pages per visit is about your most basic metric that you can create. One of the most basic metrics. None of these, the destination, duration, and pages per visit goals are pretty straightforward. You can apply a value to all of those, and you can create greater than or lesser than. If you have a page that is continually getting really decent visits, and you alter the content or remove some content, and you want to see if that causes a hit in traffic, you can create it a lesser than. If you were getting a typical visitation rate of, say, 300 a day, and you wanted to see if it went below that when you change content, you could create a goal for that and then track that goal in your intelligence events. And again, you can apply a value to this, and if your organization has gone to those steps, you can create a value ostensibly you can create a goal value for each type, whether it's a page visit, a destination, a duration, and then that can lead into what you consider a complete goal, and that's kind of gives you a theory of micro and macro conversions. If they complete a goal, that's a micro conversion. If they if they go through a complete conversion process, then that's a macro conversion, obviously. So pages per visit, very straightforward. You just, create the goal here and save that. We typically suggest, naming the goal to to be pretty plain language so you don't get very esoteric. So if this is ever handed off to a colleague or you need to create a more complicated report, that the titles of these goals are pretty explanatory and simplified. Now, the next one we're going to go to, Luis, could you go to the next page?
Yep.
Please? So the next type of goal that you can create is an event goal. Now, event goals are user interactions. No, you're right. Yeah. Events are user interactions with content that can be tracked independently during a web page or a screen load. So you can track downloads, mobile ad clicks, widgets, Flash elements, Ajax embedded events, and or video plays. You can track all of these as events. Now, events are fairly complicated, and you also have to have some code. You need to embed some code into your page instances. So we're not going to get into events because they are pretty complicated and kind of take us off track from where we're trying to go. But they can be very helpful, and if you get to a point where you've used the most out-of-the-box goal tracking tools within analytics, and you want to go and get even more information, or if you're doing app development, these are really helpful for app development. You can track very specific types of user interactions. You can type button clicks, menu accesses, input in the certain fields. So they're hugely powerful. They're just sort of complicated for our focus today. One other note, you also have to update your code snippet if you're using the classic Google Analytics. So if you do decide to turn on event goals, make sure that you get with your developer or whoever is handling actually embedding your Google Analytics code, make sure that's updated to track events. And you can find that pretty easily in Google Analytics. So the next thing we're going to go to is managing goals and funnels and flow in funnels with Luis.
Yeah, I'll take care of that right now. The goal flow reports, which Jeremy will show in the next slide, really visualizes the path that your visitors travel through to get to a goal. And this report can really help you see if visitors are navigating to your content and completing the objectives, the targeted objectives that you've set. The goal flow report is really used to investigate questions such as, where do my visitors enter my funnel? Where or why are they jumping out in the middle? Are there unexpected exits from a step in the middle? Is there a place where traffic loops can come back? Is there one segment of traffic that acts differently than other segments? So in general, the difference between a goal flow report and a flow visualization report is really around the flexibility. So goal flow report is really more flexible and most accurately reflects your user's path before completing a goal. A funnel visualization report basically only shows one visit to each step in the funnel. The actual order in which those steps were viewed isn't represented in the funnel visual report. The funnel visualization report only reflects data going forward. It doesn't show retroactive data. These are the type of things that make the the goal flow report more flexible than the the funnel visualization report. In the next couple of slides, Jeremy is going to demonstrate the concepts associated with flows and funnels.
So what we're looking at here is we're looking at Americans United. Again, I'd like to thank them for allowing us to use their data for this to show you in a real world kind of environment and how these work. This is the goal definition for Americans United, the goal that they're following. They are using just a straight destination with steps for their funnel. So what you can see here is under the destination field, they have created the donate/thank you page, and that's actually the thank you page that comes after a form, their donation widget has been completed. And so they are not using values, so you can see that the value option has been turned off, but they are using the funnel option. So they are using, they created a step number 1, that's the name of the donation page, and then the screen page is the thank you page. Oh, no, they're using the Donate Now page. I apologize. So what they have basically set up is that the end of the destination is the thank you page, but the first step to get to that destination page is to go to the donate/donate now page. And so we can see that if we go to the next screen,
Yep.
we can see how that appears in the reverse goal path. Oh, that's the wrong image. Okay, let's go to the goal funnel page, the next page, which is actually the reverse path. This is the reverse goal path, and it has, sorry, the slide is titled wrong. It has the steps. You can see here the goal completion location, like was set up in the previous slide, is the donate/thank you. You can see in step 1 that these steps have been, and this takes some explanation. Americans United is using a donations widget that they can apply to multiple pages, and so they have applied that widget to Renewal 14, the year-end special app 3, the December 13 rotator, and so what happens is users complete the form on any of those landing page on those pages, which are considered step 1, and then they are going to the donate thank you page. This kind of makes a bit of complication when you get further in the process, and we'll show you that on the goal flow. But you can see here, this demonstrates, yeah, we can go ahead and go to goal flow. So we see here at the bottom, I've kind of truncated this page a little bit. This is the goal funnel page, actually. So this is what should have been on the last slide. So the goal funnel shows us toward the bottom of the page why it's called the funnel. You can see that you have 893 users that have come in, have been acquired through these pages: donate, church-state, and about/contact us on the lower left-hand corner of the funnel. And you can see how they have then gone to the donation page and then proceeded to the thank you page. So where it says donation page 893, that is the donate/donate now, and that's the step 1 in the destination that they in the goal destination that they created previously. And then they went, and then 597 of those have ended up at the donation thank you. Now why this is complicated here and those numbers don't necessarily add up is, since in the lower left-hand corner with that number of 372, since Americans United is using that widget on multiple pages, you get multiple sources. You end up with multiple sources going to the thank you page. So we have 893 have come in through donate, church, state, and the contact us page, and another 372 have come in basically from the side through that donation widget, and they have ended up on the thank you page. So the donation thank you event or goal is accurately numbered. They're just not passing through the first step in the funnel. So it's a little bit confusing in that sense. And then you can see on the right-hand side, we've seen how many have exited and gone on to other pages. Again, this is more complicated. It shouldn't be as complicated because you have people actually leaving a donation page to go to a donation page. You can see that now on the third one down under 668. You can see donate now. So people are landing on the donation page, then going to the donate now. So you're getting kind of false positives on the exits for that. So what this kind of reiterates is to keep your conversion process, especially with any kind of registration page, is pretty straightforward. Have a landing page, have a clear landing page, then go to a clear donation page, and then that has the form, and then have that proceed to a clear thank you page, and then have any campaigns or any other pages on the site that need to have the donation page connected to them, have them go through the donation landing page, through a single donation landing page or a single donation form page, as opposed to basically having the donation form on the page itself. It just makes for simpler analytics, and you can really start to see exits. You can really start to see your conversion process working in the funnel when you have it set up accurately like that. So this isn't necessarily the wrong way to do it. It's just from an analytics standpoint, the way that Americans United have set it up, it's not the clearest. So yeah, but they are still getting a fairly decent conversion rate of 25.20%, and added with the other 597 or with the other 372, they actually have a pretty strong conversion rate overall. It just seems muddled because of the architecture that they have set up.
Great. So I'll quickly. I know we're very close on time, so I'll quickly just talk about intelligence events. So Google Analytics monitors your websites for traffic to detect statistical variations. And then what you can do is you can automate these alerts that will generate indications that there has been a variation that you're interested in. And that's what we talk about when we're referring to intelligence events. Intelligence events allows you to it's sort of an alarm system that allows you to understand when those variations have occurred. If we taking a closer look at certain anomalies, can provide further insight that you may have otherwise missed. And we see this a lot when we're thinking about when we analyze traffic spikes for a particular set of dates. Sometimes our clients will have an event, and that event will spark a spike, but then there'll be another spike maybe a week or so after that event, and we'd want to understand why that spike happened. Intelligence events allows you to view these alerts from the menu under the Home tab, and it's entitled Intelligence Events. The alert reports are aggregated by week, by day, and by month. The overview report displays both automatic and custom alerts for a given date range. So you basically have 4 reports. You have an overview report, which lists all the automated and custom alerts. You have daily events, which lists all the automatic and custom events per day. So the overview, provides alerts for specific date range. Daily events provides alerts per day. Weekly events provides alerts per week for a specified date range. And the monthly one provides alerts per month for a specified date range. And you have the 2 types of alerts are automatic alerts, which are generated whenever Google Analytics sort of detects a significant change in patterns. And then you've got custom alerts, which are triggered when you reach a certain threshold that you have specified in your account. And intelligence events allow you to created to track new content, new campaigns, donation milestones, and certainly allow you to monitor a certain period, and even provide email and mobile alerts. So that's it for intelligence events. We've got about 7 minutes. I apologize that we went into a bit of our question time. So this basically concludes the section, the second seminar, Google Analytics, and we just wanted to take some time to answer any questions. Cooper, are there any questions listed?
Hi, this is Cooper Drummond here. Yeah, I'm still waiting for people. I just want to say thank you once again for attending. Thank you, Jeremy and Luis. We'll just hang on the line for another 7 minutes till 2 o'clock, and feel free to post any questions in the comments window.
And it's my understanding as well that there might have been some audio difficulties during the presentation. We have recorded the presentation, and we can send out the slides associated along with the recording for those that may have missed certain parts of it. All right. If there's no more questions, comments, I think we can end the session.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say once again, thanks for everyone for attending. What we'll do is we'll just stay on the line until 2 o'clock, and if you'd like to ask us any further questions, you're welcome to stay online. But other than that, thank you so much, and I'll be following up with everyone here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Nick, I'll post that on our webinars page here in probably the next 48 hours or so.
Yeah, Nick, I'll be able to follow up sometime tomorrow, and I'll be able to send you the link to the recording once we have it up online. Thanks for the question. Yes, we have part 1 up online. When I follow up with you tomorrow, I'll be able to send you that link too. Thank you, Nick. Have a great day as well. All right, it's now 2 o'clock. I want to thank everyone for attending. Hope you got a lot out of this webinar, and we'll be letting you know when we have future webinars. You can go to newsignature.com/webinars, and you'll see all of our upcoming webinars on our calendar. Thank you so much. Have a great day.